Hello, guys, and welcome to Last Minute A. This channel is going to be catering to life science students, whether you're in varsity or mainly in grade 11 and 12. And basically, I'm going to be assisting you in getting an idea of sections in life science. Maybe, for example, you are just getting introduced into this new section and you're a bit nervous about it. This channel basically helps highlight the important things that you need to know in this section, and it makes it in a very digestible way, very easy for you to understand. And you can also use it maybe if you studying for your exams and you're exhausted. You've been studying, you've been reading through your textbook, you've been doing past papers, you've been going through your long detailed notes. This is just the channel that's gonna help summarize everything for you, make it easy for you to absorb everything just one last time before you go get that last minute A. So without rambling too much, let's get into it. So today, we are going to be doing nucleic acids. We are going to be talking about what are nucleic acids, the types of nucleic acids, the monomers or building blocks of nucleic acids, nitrogenous bases found in nucleic acids, structure of RNA and DNA, functions of RNA and DNA, the location of RNA and DNA in cells, and the key differences between RNA and DNA. So, what are nucleic acids? Nucleic acids are molecules found in all living things that carry pass on genetic information. The general role of nucleic acids in biology is to store, transmit, help us use genetic information that controls how cells function and how organisms grow, develop, and reproduce. So basically, nucleic acids are the molecules responsible in passing information on basically traits, how we look, how long our hair is going to be, the color of our hair, the color of our eyes, the functions. Also, nucleic acids are also responsible for the functions of our body, our cells, all the million cells, the billion cells in our bodies, in terms of that help with the systems in our bodies, the breathing system, the cardiovascular system, like circulation, blood circulation, all of those things also are determined by in the basic or the first steps of life. They are all determined by nucleic acids. So there are two types of nucleic acids. We have DNA, which is deoxyribonucleic acid, which is double stranded. And we also have RNA, which is a ribonucleic acid, which is single stranded. So those are the two um, nucleic acids. Nucleic acids we're going to be looking at today. So let's look at the building blocks of nucleic acids. So the building blocks or monomers of nucleic acids are called nucleotides. So nucleotides are the basic building blocks of nucleic acids, and you can see here there is an image of a nucleotide. This is a nucleotide. A nucleotide is made up of a phosphate, a sugar, and a nitrogenous base. So if you have a phosphate, sugar, and a nitrogenous base, that makes a nucleotide. Okay, and so what will be different when, or what will determine, oh, is this like a nitrogen, an RNA nucleotide or a DNA nucleotide is all in the sugar. Not only, but also the sugar is a big factor. The sugar would either be deoxyribose sugar or ribose sugar. Okay. So let's look at then the nitrogenous bases, because the nitrogenous bases also play a very, very big role in terms of in the processes that nucleic acids are involved in, which is replication and transcription and translation. So nitrogenous bases, which also make up the nucleotide, these are them. And in DNA, we'll have adenine, thymine, cytosine, and guanine. So those are the nitrogenous bases that you will find in DNA, and in RNA, you will still find adenine, cytosine, and guanine, but instead of thymine, you will have uracil. So uracil replaces thymine in RNA. That will be another difference. So there's also a base pairing rule. So these nitrogenous bases, they pair with each other during the processes that I've mentioned, replication and translation and transcription. And Basically their pairing is like, when you have that best friend, and when you teachers like, okay guys, you gotta get into groups to do something in class, pick a partner. That partner that you always run to, your best friend in class, that is how the nitrogen spaces also work. So adenine will always run to thymine, and cytosine will always run to guanine. So, but then in RNA, because there's no thymine, so adenine is the friend that has two best friends, and she tells you that she loves them both the same. So, RNA, adenine, when in RNA, will run to uracil because there's no thymine. And then guanine and cytosine are true best friends. It's just only them. So that's other base pairing rules. So now let's look at the structures of these nucleic acids. As you can see here, we had the DNA structure. It is double-stranded. It has two strands, and those two strands are bonded to each other are held together by the nitrogenous bases, them pairing and running to their friends, their best friends. That's how they're held together. Those are the best pairs. And then it's helix in structure, meaning it's like a ladder that has been like twisted, like I don't know, like a Fritos chip, or those chips in, I don't know, Chipotle or wherever in America. So it's like twisted. So it's a ladder that has been twisted. It's double stranded, and it's helix, double helix structure. And then ribonucleic acid is single stranded. The nitrogenous bases are out and exposed. They're not with their best friends. Nothing's happening. And it's also twisted. It's a single stranded helix structure. Those are the structures of DNA and RNA. Now let's look at the function of DNA. So DNA's function is the storage of genetic information. So DNA holds information on a lot of things that will deal with your genetics, like I mentioned, your height, the color of your eyes, even just like your gender as well, like your gender, all of those little, everything that makes you is basically held. That information is stored in DNA. All of it's the blueprint of the person that you are going to be like in terms of physical, obviously, and sometimes emotional. But I think that is more also related to nurture, a lot with nurture than genetics. So and then also, DNA is involved in gene expression and protein synthesis. That's another very important thing that DNA does. So DNA is basically responsible for also holding the instructions on how um, your body is going to function. The systems in your body are going to function at that the basic cellular level, in terms of like your protein synthesis, in terms of they will hold a blueprint that, okay, I'm going to create this protein, and this protein will be the one responsible in helping Melody transmit light. When light hits her eye, then that light will pass through her neurons and her optic nerve, and it will be translated into an image in her head. That's why sometimes when like maybe there's a bit of mutations, and then it can form like disabilities in people, genetic disabilities, it things are changed or mutated at that level, so I hope I'm not overcomplicating the situation, but yeah, it's just responsible for gene expression, how that's going to be expressed physically when you grow or you're born, and protein synthesis. Transmission of hereditary traits, more or less the same thing. Um, the traits from your parents, from your mom and your dad, your mom's eye color, you might have your mom's eye color, you might have your dad's ears, you might have your mom's nose. So it's like that, it's responsible for that as well. And replication and transmission of hereditary traits kind of go together, because replication, it allows DNA, because before cell division occurs, DNA there has to be multiple versions of it, but not versions, but like the same version, but like multiple times. So DNA can make a copy of itself to allow for whatever genetic information to be available to pass on to a new cell and more cells that are going to be made so that the genetic information does not get lost. Or, yeah, does not get lost. So I hope that was clear. You need to understand. Now let's look at the function of RNA. So RNA's main biggest function involves protein synthesis. So as I mentioned, DNA carries the instructions. This is the type of protein I want to be made, and this protein is going to help Melody see like this. This is the kind of vision she's going to have. So this protein is going to allow Melody's heart to beat, you know, because proteins are the ones that control the function of the cell. Is that correct? But they play a role as well. So RNA's main function is to read that information, carry that information, and help that information to be translated. You get it? So from DNA, takes that from DNA, and it will be translated into those proteins, and those proteins will then make us. So there's three different types of RNA that play a role in protein synthesis. So it is mRNA, which is messenger RNA, tRNA, which is translator RNA, and rRNA, which is ribosomal RNA. So mRNA basically is responsible for carrying the genetic instructions from DNA in the nucleus. This taking and reading and taking of the information happens in the nucleus with mRNA and DNA, and then mRNA will then take it and carry it and go to the ribosome. And then tRNA is responsible for bringing the correct amino acids to the ribosome to make the protein that was requested by DNA. So we all know proteins building blocks are amino acids. So amino acids are the building blocks of proteins. So tRNA, after reading the instructions that mRNA has, they bring in the correct amino acids to make that protein that they have was requested by DNA. And then rRNA is basically the structure that helps catalyzes the chemical reactions that link the amino acids. Basically, rRNA is responsible in assisting in the formation of the polypeptide bonds between the amino acids. So the bonding of the amino acids to create the protein chain that will be to form the final product is what RNA helps with. It helps catalyzes that reaction to happen. So those are the functions of RNA. I hope that was clear. And so we're going to look at the location of RNA and DNA in cells. DNA is mostly found in the nucleus, in eukaryotes, and in the nucleoid region for prokaryotes. And RNA is found in both the nucleus and the cytoplasm. And now we're going to look at the key differences between RNA and DNA. So DNA is double-stranded, and whereby RNA is single-stranded. We saw the structure. DNA on it, when you look at the nucleotides of DNA, you will see that on the sugar it has a deoxyribose sugar. And then for RNA, it has the ribose sugar. And then when you look at the nitrogenous bases, DNA will have thymine, and whereas RNA will have uracil instead of thymine. And then DNA is for long-term storage of genetic information, and then for RNA, it is for the transferring, processing, and regulating that information into forming a protein. So that is it from me today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it was very detailed for you and easy for you to understand the nucleic acids. I know we're not finished with the nucleic acids. We still have to look at the processes that the nucleic acids are involved in, which I have mentioned, which is DNA replication, which is DNA making a copy of himself, and also protein synthesis, which involves transcription and translation. So I'm going to make another video after this one that will have a detailed breakdown on those three processes and how all of that happens. So we are not done with nucleic acids. Don't worry about that. I will make a video soon enough to talk about that. But I really hope this video was very detailed and everything was clear. And I would like for you guys to subscribe, hit the notification button, like this video, leave a comment also. I would love for you to leave a comment about other sections that you would like me to do. If you would like me to go into even much more detail instead of giving an overview of the sections, I am more than happy to do that. And also share this video with your classmates. And yeah, so that everybody can get an A. Everybody needs that last minute A. I'm really happy that I was able to do this video for you guys, and enjoy the rest of your day and get the day. Bye.